This is the second topic for this session. Now we have seen how to compute cost of debentures, cost of preference. Let us see now how do you compute cost of equity. Now what is cost of equity? Return expected by equity shareholder. And cost of equity we'll be covering are two models. We'll be covering this dividend model and we'll be covering this earnings model. Now, why do we cover dividend and earnings model? Because the perspective changes. Now, for example, if you see some people say for equity shareholders also get dividend, right? Now, when equity shareholders also get dividend, their return should be measured in the form of dividends, right? So, some people say that what do equity shareholders take? They take the remaining profits which are left over, right? You remember when the profits are distributed, who takes the remaining profit? Equity shareholder. So you can say their returns can be in the form of how much profits they get every year, how much profits are actually left over at the end. So the two approaches to equity now. We have a dividend model and we have a earnings model. We can't say anything is both or any which one is better. It depends upon your perspective which you feel is best at a point of time. But both are correct in their own viewpoints. When you work out problems, you'll see dividend focus on how much dividend they get every year. The same amount of dividend or any growth in dividend which is happening. Similarly, earnings will be how much profits are distributed to equity shareholder. Different perspectives, but the concept remains the same. We need to find return expected by equity shareholder. Let us understand these models better before we start up. Now, if you see how profits are distributed, sales minus direct expenses or sales minus cost of goods sold gives you what? Gross profit. Gross profit minus operating expenses gives you is operating profit. Now, operating profit is EBIT, earnings before interest and tax. These profits need to be distributed to various people. First, we pays to the creditors of the company, as debenture holders and loan holders. So, EBIT minus interest when you have paid gives you profit before tax, that is PBT. Interest is tax deductible, minus tax you get profit after tax as such. Next person we pay is preference shareholders. So, PAT minus preference dividend gives you earnings available to equity shareholders. The final profit which equity shareholder takes home. Now, out of this profit, what happens is that certain profit is given to the equity shareholders as dividend. Certain profit is retained back in the business. So, you can say earnings are again split into two parts. The earnings which a equity shareholder gets, some are retained back in the business and are called as retained earnings, and some portion of that earnings are given to the equity shareholders as dividend. That's why because of these two models came forward. Some people say how much equity shareholder actually takes home, but that you should measure the return of them. So we have as a dividend model. Some people say, that money is reinvested back, it belongs to equity shareholder, right? So some people say earnings, the full earnings before it gets distributed, that should be taken into consideration to measure the return of an equity shareholder. Because of it, we have two models, dividend model and an earnings model. What we are going to do in this topic is we'll be discussing is dividend model of cost of capital. Dividend model of seeing how do you measure the return expected by equity shareholder. Now, starting with the dividend model, we'll be covering again two methods under it in dividend model. The first method we'll start is dividend yield method, dividend price approach. Different people, different names. Concept remain the same. So we'll try to see in the basic method under dividend is dividend yield approach or dividend price approach. How do you find out the return for an equity shareholder when it is to be measured in the form of dividends, right? Now, let us summarize. How do you find cost of debentures? Interest divided by principal. How do you find cost of preference? Dividend divided by principal amount. Similarly, how do you find dividend for an equity shareholder? For equity shareholder, it will be dividend divided by net proceeds or market price. Right? Now, why net proceeds or market price? See, shares can be of two types. One type of share can be which is newly issued by a company for the first time, that is net proceeds, or it can be a share which is already being traded in the market, in the stock market. So it can be an existing share. So existing share, we can get to know the market price of a share, right? So what is the return for equity shareholder? Under the first approach, dividend price approach, dividend yield method, we find out is with dividend divided by net proceeds or market price. Net proceeds to be used in case of new issue, market price to be issued in case of existing issues. Now, keeping these concepts in mind, let us do a small illustration. If you see, I'm not teaching you any new formula, we're not discussing any new formulas. We are just substituting according to the concept we are studying. Debentures, interest divided by principal. Preference, dividend divided by principal. Now, coming to equity, dividend divided by net proceeds or market price. Now, if you have a confusion how net proceeds or market price are used, let us do a small illustration to make it more clear. As you can see this illustration, a company issues 10,000 equity shares of 100 each at a premium of 10%. The company has been paying 25% dividend to equity shareholders for the past 5 years and expect to maintain the same in the future also. Compute the cost of equity capital. Will it make any difference if the market price per share is rupees 175? Now, given this information to us, let us try to do it. Right? Now they are trying to say is two parts. First in case of net proceeds, second in case of market price. Now whatever information is given to you, focus that we need only two things. We need is dividend and we need is net proceeds or market price. Let us find the dividend first. They are saying company issues 10,000 equity shares of 100 each. 10,000 is what? Number of shares. One share is 100 each. They are issuing at a premium of 10%. Okay. The company has been paying 25% dividend to equity shareholders for the past 5 years. So you can find the dividend rate. If one share is 100 rupees, 25% of 100 will be how much? 25. So we got the dividend part, that is 25, right? And expect to maintain in the future also, right? Now, if I give you again two parts, if I tell you if premium is not there, how will you work it out? 25 divided by 100 into 100. Right? If I tell you normal, forget the premium part which is there. How will you find out the return for equity shareholder? 25 divided by 100 into 100, which gives you 25%. Right? If I tell you one more part, find out the rate of dividend in case of a premium. What will you do? 25 divided by 110 into 100, right? Which gives you a return to equity shareholder is how much? 22.72%. As you know, premium is to be added, so add up the premium. It's a new issue, just add up premium and finish it off. Clear? That's how you need to do dividend divided by net proceeds. Second part, they're saying, will it make any difference if the market price of a share is 175? Yes, it will make a difference. So instead of net proceeds, I'll be considering is the market price. Market price is 175. So what will I do? 25 divided by 175 into 100, which will give you an answer of 14.28%. This is how we do cost of equity under the first method, dividend yield method or dividend price approach.